President Trump is facing one of the most difficult immigration issues confronting his administration.
Yeah, what to do about the DACA program that protects people who were brought into the country illegally by their parents. And he's getting plenty of pressure, as you can imagine, from both sides of the aisle. KCAL9 political reporter Bryan is here now with a look at the concerns over the program's fate in both L.A. and in Washington. Dave.
That's right. Still a few more days until we get the answers, but it's already a heated issue, that's for sure. Many of the president's core supporters are pushing him to follow through with his campaign pledge to kill all the Obama executive orders on immigration, including the creation of DACA, while some of his fellow Republicans are urging the president to demonstrate the great heart he says he has for the DACA dreamers, nearly 800,000 of them. Even as some dreamers were protesting in downtown L.A. the expected dismantling of the DACA immigration program, which protects children who were brought into the U.S. illegally by their parents, President Trump was embracing the dreamers and preparing to announce his decision on DACA.
A decision on DACA?
Sometime today or over the weekend, we'll have a decision.
Should dreamers be worried?
We love the dreamers. We love everybody.
Later, it was announced that the decision on DACA will be pushed back.
We're actually going to make that announcement on Tuesday of next week, and the president's priorities on immigration are to create a system that encourages legal immigration and benefits our economy and American workers.
During the presidential campaign, candidate Trump vowed he would end the DACA program.
Anyone who has entered the United States illegally is subject to deportation.
And CBS News reports sources at the Capitol say they expect President Trump to follow through with that promise.
We've always felt that DACA was unconstitutional and also bad public policy.
Ira Millman is the media director for FAIR, the Federation for American Immigration Reform, a conservative group that's calling on President Trump to carry out his campaign promises to order tougher immigration enforcement, especially at the border, and dismantle Obama administration programs like DACA.
He said very clearly during the campaign that he believed it was unconstitutional and that he would repeal it if he became president. Well, he's now president. It's still unconstitutional. And, I think people expect that he's going to carry through on that pledge.
But President Trump has made conflicting statements about DACA, like this in February.
We're going to show great heart. DACA is a very, very difficult subject for me.
And 2 months later, he said the dreamers should rest easy. Axel is the 15-year-old son of a dreamer with a message for President Trump.
President Trump, keep your word, have a heart for my mother and the people I love. Don't take DACA away.
We are the students!
DACA supporters argue that it protects those who did not have any role in breaking the law and have grown up as Americans, with no connection to the countries from which their parents brought them. But critics charge they are also taking jobs from U.S. citizens.
Primarily, the people with the DACA status are competing against one of the most vulnerable segments of our labor force, the millennials. It's clearly an additional encumbrance that makes it more difficult for people who are already struggling in this country to get ahead.
But even some Republicans, including House Speaker Paul Ryan, are urging President Trump to leave DACA in place while Congress works on a humane solution to prevent dreamers from being deported. Ryan talked to a Wisconsin radio station about it on Friday.
These are kids who know no other country, who were brought here by their parents and don't know another home.
And Ryan is not alone on this issue. Among those urging the president to take a more humane approach to DACA are Florida Governor Rick Scott, Utah Senator Orrin Hatch, and a dozen or more of GOP Congress members who represent districts with large and growing Latino communities. Now, that includes at least 2 representatives from California, Representatives Jeff Denham and from Modesto, and Dave Valadao, who his district includes Hanford and a portion of Bakersfield. Now, Congressman Valadao actually contacted President Trump in February with a 2-page letter in which he asked for consideration for those who were brought to this country as minors and at no fault of their own. Susie?
Dave, what happens if President Trump says goodbye to DACA? I mean, what happened to the dreamers?
Good question. Good question. A lot of people trying to figure that out. Still a lot of unanswered questions about that. There were multiple reports this week that even if the president kills DACA, those who are already in the program will be allowed to maintain their status until their work permits expire. That could be for up to 2 years. And then will ICE then go after those folks to deport them since the government has the names of the DACA participants? Will they simply fall back, the participants that is, into their prior status before DACA of living and working in the shadows without driver's licenses or any official work status? And will they be deported to countries in which they have never lived and have no connections since they were brought to America as babies or young children by their parents? Jeff, Susie?